Class 11th Subject Physics, first chapter Units and Measurements. Let us see the introduction of this chapter. Physics is a quantitative science where we measure various physical quantities during the experiments. In our day-to-day life, we need to measure a number of quantities. For example, size of the objects, volume of liquid, amount of matter, weights of vegetables and fruits, body temperature, length of the earth, measurement of time, etc. The measurement of a physical quantity is the comparison of that physical quantity with a standard measuring unit which is internationally accepted, and therefore the standard used for the measurement of a physical quantity is called as unit of that physical quantity. The standard used for the measurement of a physical quantity is called as unit of that physical quantity. For example, mass of a fruit is measured in terms of kilogram or gram. The length of the wire will be measured in terms of meter, and therefore in these examples kilogram, gram, meter are the units for different physical quantities such as mass and length. Now let us consider the system of units. Which are the system of units? So in all there are 4 system of units, and these are: first one CGS, that is centimeter gram second system. Centimeter gram second system, that is CGS. Second is MKS, that is meter kilogram second system. So meter kilogram second system, that is MKS. Third is FPS, that is foot pound second system. So foot pound second system, that is FPS. And the fourth one is SI, that is system international system. So SI system means system international. So these are 4 system of units which are used for the measurement. Now if you consider the physical quantities and their units, they are classified into 2 different groups, and these are the fundamental quantities and the units. The first one will be fundamental quantities and their units. Now what are the fundamental quantities? The physical quantities which do not depend on any other physical quantities for their measurement are called as the fundamental quantities. The physical quantities which do not depend on any other physical quantities for their measurements are called as fundamental physical quantities. There are 7 fundamental physical quantities like length, which is measured in terms of meter, then mass measured in terms of kilogram, then time measured in terms of second, temperature measured in terms of Kelvin. Similarly, electric current measured in terms of ampere, luminous intensity, that is intensity of light, which is measured in terms of candela CD, and the amount of substance, which is measured in terms of mole. So in this way there are 7 fundamental physical quantities, and these are length, mass, time, temperature, electric current, luminous intensity and amount of substance. So in all 7 physical quantities are treated as fundamental physical quantities. Then what are the fundamental units? If you consider the fundamental quantities, then what are the fundamental units? The units used for the measurement of fundamental physical quantities are called as fundamental units. The 7 fundamental physical quantities with their units are as given above, that is length in terms of meterium, mass in terms of kilogram kg, time in terms of second s, temperature in terms of Kelvin K, then electric current in terms of ampere A, and luminous intensity in terms of candela CD. Similarly, amount of substance measured in terms of mole. So these are the 7 fundamental physical quantities along with their fundamental units. So second type of the physical quantities is derived physical quantities. So derived physical quantities, that is derived quantities and their units. Second type is derived quantities and their units. Now what are these derived physical quantities? The physical quantities which depend on some or all of the 7 fundamental quantities for their measurements are called as derived physical quantities. The physical quantities which depend on some or all of the 7 fundamental physical quantities for their measurement are called as derived physical quantities. These quantities are large in number. For example, area, volume, velocity, acceleration, force, density. These are some of the examples of derived physical quantities. Here in this case, density is given, velocity is given, velocity in terms of meter per second, density in terms of kilogram per meter cube, and acceleration in terms of meter per second square will be measured. Similarly, force will be measured in terms of Newton, pressure will be measured in terms of Newton per meter square. So all these are the derived physical quantities, because in this case velocity will depend upon displacement and time, that is length and time. Therefore it is derived physical quantity. Density will also depend upon mass as well as length, and therefore it is also derived physical quantity. Acceleration will depend upon displacement and time, that's why it is the derived physical quantity. So in this way all these will represent the derived physical quantities. Now what are the units of derived physical quantities? The unit of derived physical quantity is called as derived unit. The unit of derived physical quantity is called as derived unit. Now some derived quantities with their units and symbols are as given above, that is velocity, which is measured in terms of meter per second, so that will be displacement upon time. Density is mass per unit volume, will be measured in terms of kilogram per meter cube. Acceleration, that is velocity upon time, so it will be measured in terms of meter per second square. Similarly, force will be measured in terms of Newton, pressure in terms of Newton per meter square. So all these units represent the derived units. So this will be the classification of the physical quantities as fundamental physical quantities and derived physical quantities. So from this again there will be third category of the units, that is instead of fundamental units and derived units there will be another one, third one category, that is supplementary units, that is which will not be included in fundamental or derived. And these are, first one is plane angle denoted by d theta. So this plane angle will be the angle which is measured in 2 dimensions. So this will be present, this plane angle will be present in 2 dimensions. So it will be given as this plane angle d theta, the ratio of the length of an arc of a circle to the radius of that circle. The ratio of the length of an arc of a circle to the radius of that circle is called as plane angle. And therefore, in this diagram, O will be the center of that circle, ds will be very small part of that circle that will act as an arc, and r will be the radius of that circle. And therefore, the plane angle in 2 dimension will be given as d theta equal to arc upon radius. That is the ratio of arc of this circle to its radius, and therefore it is AB upon OB, that is nothing but ds upon r. So this is d theta, that is the plane angle. Now this plane angle, as it is present in 2 dimensions, it will be measured in terms of radian. So radian is the unit for the measurement of this plane angle. Now let us go for second, that is solid angle d omega. It is solid angle d omega. So this angle will be present in 3 dimension, that is in the space. So in 3 dimension, this solid angle will be present, and therefore the ratio of the portion of surface of a sphere, the ratio of portion of the surface of a sphere to the square of its radius is called as the solid angle. The ratio of portion of the surface of a sphere to the square of radius of that sphere is called as solid angle. And therefore, in this diagram, this dA will represent small surface area of the sphere, and then r will be the radius of that sphere. At that time, this angle which is measured in 3 dimension will be nothing but d omega, that is the solid angle. And therefore the solid angle according to definition will be given as the ratio of the surface area of that sphere to the square of its radius, and therefore the solid angle d omega will be equal to dA upon r square. But instead of that, very small part of that sphere, if you consider the entire sphere, the whole sphere, then at the center of that sphere in the space, the total solid angle omega will be given as this d omega will represent small solid angle, but this will be the solid angle for entire sphere. At the center of that sphere, the angle due to the whole surface area of that sphere will be equal to, again by definition it is dA upon r square. But we know that the surface area of the sphere of radius r is given as 4 pi r square, and so it will be divided by again r square will get cancelled, and therefore the solid angle for that entire sphere will be equal to 4 pi. Now this solid angle is measured in terms of steradian, that is denoted by SR. So in terms of steradian it will be measured. So these are the 2 supplementary units, that is plane angle and solid angle. Now let us go for next point, that is the conditions for use of SI units. That means some of the rules we will have to follow while using the SI units. While writing the SI units, some of the rules we will have to follow, and these rules are: first, unit of every physical quantity should be represented by its symbol. So unit of every physical quantity should be represented by its symbol. For example, unit of force is Newton, so it will be represented by N. Unit of energy is Joule, it will be represented by J. The unit of velocity is meter per second, so it will be represented by m per s. Second, full name of unit always starts with small letter even if the unit is named after a person. Full name of a unit always starts with small letter even if the unit is named after a person. So while writing the full name of any unit, the first letter should not be capital, it must be small even if that unit is named after a person. For example, while writing 1 Newton, so in that full name of Newton, N must be small. 1 Joule, so in the full form of that Joule, J must be small. 1 kilogram, K must be small. 1 meter, M must be small. So N, J, K, M, all these initial letters of the full names of that unit should be written as small letters. Then, but symbols of units named after a person, starts with capital letter. So instead of writing the full names of the units, if we are writing the symbols of the units, then if that symbol is written there and if it is named after a person, if the unit is named after a person, then its symbol will be written with capital initial letter. And therefore, for example, for Newton, if we are writing the symbol N, then it will be written capital. For Joule, J will be written capital. For Watt, W will be written capital. So this will be the second rule. Then third rule, the symbols of the units do not take plural forms. The symbols of the units should not be written in plural forms. For example, 50 Newton will be written as 50 N and not as 50 Newtons or 50 NS. So always it will be written in singular form and not in the plural form. Fourth rule, the symbols for units do not contain any full stop at the end of the letter. So at the end of the letter, there will be no any full stop while writing the symbols of the units. For example, 25 kilogram will be written as 25 kilogram will be written as only 25 kilogram and not as 25 and not as 25 kg dot. So when that symbol is used, then it will be only written as 25 kg and not as 25 kg dot. Next rule will be fifth rule, that is units of physical quantities in numerator and denominator should be written as 1:. The units of physical quantities in numerator and denominator should be written as 1:. For example, the SI unit of acceleration is meter per second square. The SI unit of acceleration is meter per second square and therefore it will be written as meter per second square, meter per second square, or it will be meter second square. So meter per second square, it will be equal to meter per second square or meter space second raised to -2, that is meter per second square. Similarly, next rule will be the use of combination of units and symbols for units is avoided when physical quantities expressed by combination of two. So the use of combination of units and symbols for units is avoided when physical quantity is expressed by the combination of two. So when there is combination of two or more than two physical quantities, either symbols or the units should be written, but the mixing of, that is combination of units and symbols, should not be written. So for example, the unit, if it is joule per kilogram Kelvin, joule per kilogram Kelvin, then it will be written as, joule per kilogram Kelvin, and not as joule, it is joule per kilogram Kelvin, and not as joule per kilogram Kelvin. So this will be correct here, that is joule per kilogram Kelvin, but don't write the unit and symbol. So either all the symbols for all the physical quantities or the units for all the physical quantities should be written. Next is seventh rule, that is the prefix symbol is used before the symbols of the units. The prefix symbol is used before the symbols of units. That is, for example, here it is given. For example, if you consider 1 microsecond, that is equal to 10⁻⁻⁶ second, it will be written as 1 microsecond. So in short, it will be written as 1 microsecond. Similarly, 1 nanosecond equal to 10⁻⁹ second, that will be given as 1 nanosecond. So like this, prefix symbols must be used there. So prefix symbol is used before the symbol of the unit. Next rule, that is eighth rule, is the space or hyphen must be introduced. The space or hyphen must be introduced while indicating the multiplication of two units. The space or hyphen must be introduced while indicating the multiplication of two units. For example, meter per second. If you consider here the example, that is meter per second. So in M and S there must be some space left. This will be also written as meter dash second raised to -1, that is meter per second, but it will not be written as meter into second raised to -1, and therefore some hyphen or space must be there in between the multiplication of the two units. So these are some of the conditions for using the SI units.